So thank you for inviting me back to talk about public engagement again. I think it's safe to say my interests also include transparency. I was a former deputy director of the Sunlight Foundation and now work at Demand Progress Education Fund on open government, good government, civil liberties, and privacy, which is one of the focuses here. And I appreciate what everyone has had to say here. I feel, however, as if we're couching this in much too polite terms. The fact is that as Nick acknowledged at the top of the conversation, we have historic lows in trust in government. And the fact is that this government has led an unprecedented official disinformation campaign. It has made it much more difficult for people to trust official sources of data or statistics. We have government officials at the highest levels of government telling people they simply can't believe what they see, can't believe what they read, casting doubt on science, casting doubt on what the data show about the pandemic ravaging our population. This is not the way it should be. The fact is that the federal data strategy is part of the open government plan of our nation, which most people have never heard of because, again, this administration did not engage people about it. It is a unofficial rulemaking that we're kind of continually going through, where there's an iteration mostly mediated through technology companies and their partners and online forums, not through broadcast media, through print, through radio, through billboards, a widespread public engagement campaign that actually brings the public into the process of participatory governance in the way that 21st century governments are doing around the world. We are experiencing a massive failure in the use of official power to inform the public about the governments that, in theory, serve them, about the agencies that hold government in trust for them. And we are still seeing failure, again, from the top, to make sure that this strategy is led as a priority for the nation as opposed to an afterthought, which officials down the line are being pushed off to work on. Now, there's a lot of things that we should talk about, but one is the fact that censorship and data removals are real. Denials of access are real. They have been documented now for 4 years. Every single one of them diminishes trust in data. Every single one of them puts the lie to the idea that the government is being a good steward of data for the public. That should be unacceptable. And if we're talking about what's next in the strategy, that should be at the top of the list, right? There should be no place where data is removed where there's no explanation. There should be no situation where an official is casting doubt on the accuracy of statistics. There should not be situations where scientists are censored from being able to talk to the public, or they're able to talk to other scientists outside of government. We should not have a situation where there's a question, where there's a doubt about systemic bias in data that has a racial component that is used in criminal justice. And yet that is very much the case across our government. You cannot say that this is working effectively when these are all realities. They are documented. And the federal data strategy should be one which is founded upon evidence, upon creating shared public facts so we can rise to address collective challenges, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's issues in education, whether it's issues in criminal justice or climate change. Again, why is our national data strategy not encompassing making sure that people understand human activity is a change in the planet and that industrial activity itself is driving a lot of that change? These are facts which our government is not putting in front of us, and our data strategy should be focused upon that, giving evidence into the hands of people that need it. And the fact is that the Open Government Data Act, which is part of the Evidence-Based Policy Act, which the Data Coalition worked to get through, mandates the creation of data officers who would be leading these conversations in public, who would be encouraging everyone to comply with the law. There would be guidance from the White House Office of Management and Budget, which advises agencies that they should no longer be publishing PDFs. They should no longer be publishing scans. They should no longer be sending burned CDs with pictures of data, but they should be publishing open structured data on the internet. And that these are not discretionary choices. These are choices that Congress has clearly intended to make sure that agencies push out. Now, all of this should be put together in a massive public education campaign that optimizes for trust, that tells the public this data is yours. When our government does that, you'll know they're actually behind the federal data strategy. Until they do, we should view all of this with a great deal of doubt. And I feel like there's been a little bit too much happy talk today and not enough reality. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today.